morning, good day, and good evening. And welcome also to all of you who are now sleeping or working, but will watch the recording afterwards. To find a suitable time for all is impossible. That's why we today start earlier to make it easier for Asia Pacific, and tomorrow we start later to make it easier for the Americas. In some panels, we will have pre-recorded messages as the panels are in the middle of the night. Some practical information is that we have interpretation, or we had interpretation to and from Spanish and French. In the plenary sessions, I believe only the Spanish one is working for the moment. And the possibility to choose subtitles in your language in the parallel ones, as well as in the plenary sessions, if you choose that. If you have questions to the panelists, you write them down in questions and answers during the session, and they will be forwarded to the moderators. During the 30 minutes breaks, you can stay on networking in a breakout room, meeting old friends, finding new ones, or you simply have a meal or similar and then come back again. Up to you. For those who don't know me, my name is Bodil Valero, a former Swedish parliamentarian, active in the party since the early 1990s, and now co-convener of the Global Greens, together with my great friend Franca Vinesa from Rwanda. Back to why we gather today. On the 16th of April, 25 years ago, Greens from all over the world gathered in Canberra with a clear vision to work together to save this planet for future generations. They adopted the Global Greens Charter and created the Global Greens Coordination. So yes, it's time to celebrate, not only that we have worked together the last 25 years, but that Greens have been instrumental in passing particularly environmental legislation. Despite strong resistance from our opponents, we have developed policies and systems and drafted legislation, even if not all of them passed. But that shows how we can manage the necessary transition to a sustainable world. We also celebrate that Green parties started to emerge around the world in the early 1970s. The very first ones in Australia, New Zealand, and Switzerland in 1972. And then we popped up like mushrooms during the 70s to the 90s in all continents. We celebrate that we got our very first Green Member of Parliament in Switzerland already in 1979. And now we have parliamentarians and senators in all continents and in many, many countries, as well as elected regional and local members of assemblies and councils. We celebrate that we together have pushed climate and environmental policies forward, and that our Green politicians have reached the highest levels of respect for their work and been elected or appointed to important positions, both locally and in parliaments and governments. But not only as Green politicians. Our Green member from Kenya, Wangari Maathai, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2004. We actually have a Green president, Alexander van der Bellen in Austria, and the president of the UN General Assembly is Annalena Baerbock from the German Greens, and so many more. I can't name all. In some countries we are small, in others we are big, in some we are in opposition, in others we govern, in some we are not allowed, in some we get imprisoned, kidnapped, or even killed due to our engagement. But when we stand together and do what we can to support each other, we are strong, and we all need each other. We are the political arm of the Green movement and aim to work through influencing and drafting legislation. The goal to save the planet for future generations needs to go through good results in the elections in every country where elections are allowed, and we are represented as a political party. And in those countries where we are not established yet, or in non-democratic countries, we should try to find allies. In some countries, the Greens have disappeared. In some, there are several Green parties. Some have left, some are on their way back. My hope is that we can gather all Greens in all countries under the same umbrella, the Global Greens. The planet needs us united. We are more needed than ever, not only for environmental reasons and social justice, but also for peace. In this very moment, when the situation in the world is totally unpredictable and we have no idea what will happen from one day to the next, Greens are a voice for the respect of international law, for non-violence, diplomacy, disarmament, and peace. I want to give a special thanks to all of you, some are here today, who went to our first Congress in Canberra, and to the various meetings who led there. You made it possible to adopt our Global Green Charter, the common constitution all member parties are bound to. You did a great job to create a text all continents could stand behind, taking into account our very different backgrounds. I know there were a lot of discussions and amendments, as my then boss, Inger Schörling, member of the European Parliament, was there, as well as a rather big Swedish delegation. And hi, Inger, I know you are sitting there listening. I'm sad to inform you that some of our pioneers from Canberra have left us. I already mentioned Wangari Maathai, our Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Per Gahrton from Sweden, a well-known ideologist in the Greens, and a couple of days ago, Adamo Garba from Niger, long-standing member of Global Greens Coordination. There are more, of course, from all federations, but I stop there and leave the floor to Frank. And Frank, he is with his Senate in a commemoration of the genocide. He wanted to be here, but he has not enough connection, we suspect, but he sent us a backup plan, a video, and we will show that one. So, välkomna alla, benvinguts a tots. That is welcome to all in my two home languages. And once again, very sorry for the delay, but now I see that all of our participants are here. I just got that message. And so we start from now, and I will always also have the help from Alice Terhuna, our deputy coordinator in this panel. Thank you very much.
Of the Global Greens. I joined during the second Global Greens Congress in Sao Paulo, Brazil, 2008, and it was such a great pleasure for all of us that we were able to continue to build what you started in Canberra. We were later also able to establish the African Greens Federation in 2010, and through that we were able to establish several parties over 23 countries, and the federation has grown from strength to strength. Later on, as a member of the Global Greens Coordination, we managed to register the Global Greens after approving the status, and it was officially registered in Brussels, in Belgium. And later, of course, we had the pleasure to host the third Global Greens Congress in Africa, which was done in Dakar, Senegal, and many of you were there. And it was also a good success, and of course, the third one was in Liverpool and the United Kingdom, where it was such great pleasure for having many of you who were there from the beginning. And the last one, of course, which some of you attended in South Korea, and so brought many of us together and shaped our visions for the future. And we continue to strengthen ourselves as we prepare for the upcoming one. So this event today is one of those that are very, very important, because we were organizing and celebrating 25 years after the establishment of the Global Greens. And I'm very, very happy to have people like Senator Bob Brown, Margaret Breakers, Eva Gowes, Ramu Drago, and everyone else from here who have played a big role in the establishment of the Global Greens. Of course, I cannot mention each and every name, but we are very, very happy for this. And just say that in Africa, also growing strong, although the situation is still challenging, especially in the matters of environmental conservation and the issues of climate change, which are a serious reality we live in. We still have a lot of flooding, a lot of big problems caused by too much sunshine, a lot of desertification, lack of food, hunger here and there, and internal environmental migration. It's not easy. We were able to ask for more from the COP on the climate change, that at least the countries which are affected by the effects of climate change to be paid more. We hope that the funding will really come to help countries that are struggling. And of course, mentioning that, of course, as you all know, that democracy is still also a challenge, where we have wars taking place in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in South Sudan, in Sudan, Darfur, and elsewhere. Of course, I will not end without also condemning the war happening in Iran, which is not justifiable by all means, and we hope that also peace will prevail in the Palestinian territories, and at least we shall have a two-state solution to solve the problems with the Palestinian people. So I thank you all, and I also welcome you to this Congress. God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we go directly to our speakers. We have been listing all those who were in Canberra in 2001. Some of them are here today. Some of them were not in Canberra, but they have been working for many, many years. And I will be very short to save some time for the introduction for the different speakers. But I will start with Eva Goes. One of the founders of the Green Party in Sweden. She was the party leader for many years when we entered into parliament for the first time. Eva Goes was also the president for Green Forum. And Green Forum is a Swedish foundation working with the Green Party. They were also instrumental in making the Canberra meeting a possibility. So Eva, I give the floor to you, and you explain what happened. How did we come there to Canberra?
Oh, thank you. Can you give me the floor, the video? It says that you can't start the video. The host must activate me. No. 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 Can you see
We don't
me?
see you, Eva.
No?
Yes, we do see you.
We can see you.
No,
We can see
now
you.
you see me. Okay. Oh, hello, all people. I'm so happy to meet you. As you understand, I've been active for 45 years. As old as my youngest girl is. She was born into the Green Party and in Global Greens from before, because we started in Africa. Do you have the slides so we can show? We started already in the 90s. So we had an Euro-African conference in Nairobi. And in January, we had preparation in Burkina Faso. And then I met Ram for the first time. And I have a very nice photo, if you can show it, if you have these slides, which I sent in forehand. And Wangari Maathai was there. And there were 9 West African countries. And some were parties, some were NGOs. But also from Zimbabwe and Kenya. So that's why Wangari was there. And now you see, this is the gang from Green Forum, Birgitta Losman, Christopher, and me. And then on the next, you see me, and I don't know the name of him, but Wangari and Ram. So this was in January. Take next picture. And then we went to Nairobi, and Wangari Maathai was the host, perfect as such. In the middle, you see Stefan Kramer, and he is still working internationally with environment and mines in South America and so on. I met him 2 years ago. It was fantastic to come home to him. Unfortunately, Wangari is not here with us, but she is in our memories. As long as you are in a memory, you are alive. And she is alive. Take the next. And here is the last day when we were there with the European Parliament as well. You see Inger Schörling close to me. She was in the Parliament and she has been supporting the Global Greens all the time. And to the right, you see one Violetta from Lithuania, which we have sponsored, so she could go there. There were over 200 representatives and from 25 countries and 11 Green parties and 12 NGOs. And of course, there must be NGOs. They are the embryos of our parties. So together we made a 3-day conference. And of course, it was also statements from that conference. And it was called that we should work with the global issues, but also with the continental. So take next picture. And of course, we made an illegal action, as we also are activists. So we made a tree planting in Nairobi. Wangari Maathai is in the Greenbelt, was in the Greenbelt movement, and so we made this. As usual, we planted a tree. If you plant a tree, you plant for the future. Next picture. Or is it last? And then, this was 98, but then 2000, when I was the chairperson of the Green Forum, we decided to support an Asia Pacific Green Workshop in Brisbane. And then I went there, and it was for 3 days. And Bob was there, Margaret was there. Fantastic. What a consensus. What fantastic people who were there. And they came from, how many countries were there? 12, I think. And they were, for instance, 4 from New Caledonia. They were new ones, and they fought against, they protected the reefs, and we wanted them to be, we made a nomination to France and say that it should be in the World Heritage, these coral reefs. And we had also from Philippines, we had from East Timor, from Taiwan, 4 people who are fighting against nuclear power. Have you heard about that? Is there any difference today? No. And we had from Hong Kong, we had from Mongolia, and New Zealand, of course. 7 members of the parliament was there. And from Australia, there were a big delegation. And Roberto was from Philippines, and we injected new energy into the new phase of development, so to say. So this was the first step to prepare for Global Greens 2001, and also for the next Federation of Asia Pacific, because this was just a network, and all over the world there were federations in that time, but now also they wanted to step up. In 2001, I think they also made the federation, and we seek to expand membership across the region, and we took resolutions about New Caledonia. We decided to make electronic networks. Can you imagine? And that is still a problem, that we can't get the list of all the people who are involved in Global Greens. That is the big problem. I have been working with a foundation and getting money to Global Greens, and it has been very difficult because we're not allowed to use the registers. So I started the FROG, Friends of Global Greens, because we wanted to collect money to Global Greens. And it was after Dakar 2012. And then we got the money, and we could see, I had an overview because everything came to Sweden, to Green Forum, but we had a special account. And Lena Lindström was taking care of this. And then I could see all people I turned to, so they could pay to frogs. And you can still become Friends of Global Greens. I would really like that you do that. And 2012 in Dakar, Green Forum sponsored more than 100,000 euro in that, because we made a program for 4 years for Africa. So I think I became a mother of Africa during this time. They called me so. But what have we learned? I think we have learned that real democracy must be taken in action. I really like participatory democracy, but we see all over the world that democracy is almost ruined, but we are the hope. And we must also have environmental actions, more practical and ideological, because ordinary people and children shall be included, take actively part in the progress, and we also shall work locally and transparent. And it looks better, not less. We must get better, not just less bad. We must make a vision. We must paint a future worth wanting. The influences is needed, and we must protect the planet Gaia. That is my vision. We must paint a future because we are working for the future generation, but also those alive today, and the nature, and the animals, and the ecological system.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you very, very much. I will rapidly go on to next speaker, and it will be Ram with Edraugo. I don't know exactly the pronunciation, but anyway, Ram is a long-standing member also and the founder of his Green Party in Burkina Faso. He has been a minister, but something that I see is very, very special is a private detective. That is something very different. But Ram, the floor is yours. Do we have Ram here?
Yes.
Ram, vous êtes là?
Je suis là.
Ah, merci, merci.
Je suis là. Je peux prendre
Alors,
la parole?
Oui, vous avez la parole.
D'accord, merci beaucoup. Mais avant toute chose, permettez-moi de rendre un hommage appuyé à notre ami et frère Adamo Garba du Niger, qui est décédé. On a tout fait ensemble. On a créé la coordination des Verts d'Afrique. On a créé le Global Green. Depuis 2001, nous sommes tous ensemble. Et vraiment, remerciements à tout le Global Green. Maintenant, si je suis en ligne, je continue.
Oui.
Dit que les Verts mondiaux sont un réseau international réunissant des partis écologistes de plus de 100 pays fédérés autour de la charte des Verts mondiaux. Donc, depuis 2001, nous, en tant qu'Africains, nous sommes là, on participe. Et moi, en tant que président des Verts du Burkina Faso, j'ai été co-conveneur avec Kelly Yen, tous les États, c'est-à-dire tous les continents. En Amérique du Sud, j'étais à Sao Paulo. Au niveau de Taïwan, en Asie, j'étais là. Au niveau de l'Europe, la Suède, la Belgique, la France, j'étais toujours là. Et aux États-Unis aussi, j'étais là à Wisconsin, dans le Wisconsin, à Milwaukee. Alors donc, au Brésil,
Did we lose Ram?
Yeah, yes, we did.
Okay, then rapidly we will go to the next speaker, and that is Oscar Rivas from Paraguay. Oscar has also been a minister, and he is an architect and expert in sustainable development and territorial management. Oscar was in Canberra, and please, Oscar, tell us about your experience.
Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, dependiendo de qué parte del planeta estamos. Bueno, queridas compañeras, queridos compañeros, es un gusto muy grande compartir este momento a 25 años del Congreso de la Global Greens. Hablo desde el Paraguay, desde América Latina y también desde una experiencia muy significativa, que fue haber participado en el Congreso de Canberra en el año 2001. Canberra fue un punto de encuentro extraordinario. Más de 800 personas de más de 70 países nos reunimos con trayectorias muy distintas, partidos políticos verdes, organizaciones sociales, redes ambientales, activistas, académicos. Aquí, aquel encuentro eh, permitió reconocernos como parte de una construcción común y avanzar hacia una visión compartida de escala global. A partir de ese encuentro, se consolidó un proceso político muy importante, la Carta de los Verdes, que surge en Canberra y recoge principios fundamentales que siguen orientando al movimiento hasta hoy. La justicia social, la democracia participativa, la sustentabilidad y la no violencia. Esa Carta de los Verdes refleja una construcción colectiva donde convergen distintas historias, territorios y luchas. El aporte de América Latina y del sur global tuvo un peso significativo en ese proceso. Desde entonces, desde nuestros territorios, nosotros hemos llevado experiencias concretas, marcadas por respuestas social o socioambientalmente profundas. Desde una mirada latinoamericana, el cuestionamiento a las hidroeléctricas, por ejemplo, permitieron visibilizar cómo los grandes proyectos de infraestructura o megaproyectos impactan sobre las comunidades, territorios y ecosistemas, y cómo esos procesos se vinculan con modelos de desarrollo que concentran el poder y generan desigualdades. Esa mirada también fue compartida con procesos similares en África y en otras regiones del planeta, ayudando a fortalecer una visión del ambientalismo con contenido político, desde la dimensión ecológica se integra con la justicia social, donde la dimensión ecológica la integramos con la justicia social, los derechos humanos y la necesaria participación democrática de las comunidades en todos los procesos de toma de decisiones. De esa manera, el movimiento verde fue construyendo una identidad que articuló distintas dimensiones: la dimensión ambiental, la social, la económica y la democracia. Una identidad que reconoce que la crisis ecológica está profundamente vinculada a la forma en que se organiza la sociedad, se distribuyen los recursos y se ejerce el poder. Hoy, 25 años después, esa comprensión adquiere aún mayor relevancia. La crisis climática se manifiesta con mayor virulencia. En los territorios se enfrentan presiones crecientes por el avance de actividades extractivistas y las desigualdades siguen marcando. Las condiciones de vida de millones de personas, especialmente en el sur global. En América Latina, estas dinámicas se expresan de manera muy concreta. Nuestros territorios concentran biodiversidad, tienen mucha agua, energía y bienes comunes naturales estratégicos, y al mismo tiempo son espacios donde se desarrollan conflictos por el control de estos bienes comunes. En este contexto, las comunidades, los pueblos indígenas y las organizaciones sociales ya desempeñaban un rol central en la defensa de los territorios y en la construcción de alternativas. En el contexto actual, marcado por conflictos y guerras en distintas regiones del planeta, el papel del movimiento verde adquiere aún mucho mayor responsabilidad. La construcción de la paz, la justicia y la sustentabilidad forman parte de un mismo desafío. En ese proceso histórico, particularmente en Canberra, estos desafíos comenzaron a reconocerse como profundamente interrelacionados, dando lugar a una visión común dentro del movimiento verde. La transición hacia sociedades sustentables, justas y en equilibrio con la naturaleza también es una condición para una paz duradera. El movimiento verde tiene hoy una oportunidad muy importante de profundizar su propuesta política. Existe un camino para seguir articulando justicia socioambiental, democracia participativa y sustentabilidad, promoviendo transformaciones que permitan avanzar hacia sociedades equitativas y en equilibrio con la naturaleza. A 25 años de Canberra, este aniversario invita a fortalecer la articulación global del movimiento, integrando las distintas experiencias y aprendizajes que se han construido en estos años y manteniendo siempre una concreción profunda con los territorios y con las realidades concretas de nuestras comunidades. Este proceso colectivo exige y sigue siendo fundamental para proyectar el futuro, un futuro donde la justicia, la democracia, la paz y la sustentabilidad formen parte de una misma construcción. Muchas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias, Oscar, y especialmente porque sé que es a medianoche para ti. Y gracias por estar con nosotros aquí y gracias por participar y por haber participado en Canberra. We are going to the next speaker directly. It is Bob Brown. Do we have Bob here? Because I know Bob has been kicked out and come back again. But Bob he was a senator during the time of Canberra, and it was organized from his office, really. So I would like to thank Bob for what he did to make it possible, but also give him the floor directly so he can speak more about the situation then and also now. Are you there, Bob?
I am, Bodil.
Oh, thank you. Do you remember we met in Dakar? With the Swedish Greens, Kennedy and you and some others, yes?
Yes. So lovely to make this acquaintance with you, the previous speakers, and everybody else on this great venture to green the planet But that conference in 2001, 25 years ago in Canberra, brought together 80 countries with Greens representatives and 800 delegates to strengthen ourselves by understanding that right round the world there is a growing, well, an essential need for compassion, which comes out of care for the environment, social justice, democracy, and peace, but that we also have to stand up to the brutes who were running the world then. And we thought we could see how bad things were, but they've grown increasingly worse in the 25 years. Just going back to it, Margaret Blakers was working with me and did so much to have that Greens conference come about. Christine Milne, who later became leader of the Australian Greens, took a formative part. And Louise Crossley, who's not with us anymore, was on an Antarctic island. She'd been an expedition leader in Antarctica when she put together this marvellous document, which is the Global Greens Charter. It was adopted at that conference and translated into many languages, including Chinese, French, Italian, and Spanish and other languages. So everybody has that available. It is our binding document. It brings us together. Now we are in a world where we need that more than ever. We haven't grown as fast as we needed to. We haven't been able to stand up to the brutes in this Trumpian world where thuggery, lack of empathy, short-sightedness is cutting across our ability to plan a planet where everybody has an equal opportunity for their future, and we ensure that we work for the rights of those who come after us, as well as our fellow creatures on this planet. Now, as Jimi Hendrix said, there are many evil folk in this world, and they want us to be nice and kind and gentle so they can spread us out like Jell-O. Well, the wisdom of that young man resonates right through to us now. We can be nice and kind and gentle, but we cannot rely on anything other than strength, standing up to those who are misrunning this planet, because the end days are coming at us, predicted not by somebody with a crystal ball, but by the scientists at a rate we never thought would happen before. And it is important that we Greens do not spend a lot of time looking in at ourselves and making ourselves perfect, but go out and carry through the aims of this charter in every level of government, but together. One of the things we determined at Canberra 25 years ago was a green shield. That is to look after each other when those of us in more dangerous circumstances, particularly under autocrats and dictators, have a hard time of it. It didn't last long. We did have some occasion to go to Mexico and Colombia and other countries to try to help our fellow colleagues who were in trouble or who had been kidnapped, who had disappeared. It's something we need to get back. And those of us in the wealthy, more peaceful, assured countries have a much bigger responsibility for making that stand. We tend to, at times, look in on ourselves too much, not look out, accept that we're imperfect, but go for it. And we need to do that urgently now. I want to say a word for Zach Polanski in the United Kingdom. Today, a huge serve against him by the Murdoch press in Australia. Why is that? Because he's out there taking them on in a remarkable fashion, which has seen the growth of the Greens and adherents leaving Labor and the Conservatives and going across to the Greens, because he's out there. and he's saying it as it is, and he's producing solutions. And that's the onus for all of us. Instead of thinking about how we can make ourselves better or how we should be doing things better, out there telling the public a road forward is possible, and it can be civil and it can be economically wise, but that all is based on ecological wisdom. So here we are. We're much stronger than we were back in 2001, but we've got to be much stronger still. And all I say is, good on you, all you wonderful people who are contributing to this great green alternative. There is no alternative. The future is either green or we won't have one. And so the responsibility is very strong on us to be very strong in what we're saying. I take my hat off to everybody who's in elected office in the Greens right around the world at any level at the moment, everybody who's supporting the Greens, because we are the one option that's going to give this planet and its human herd a future, along with our fellow creatures, and hand across to the next generation a world worth living in. 25 years down the line, it's celebratory, but boy, have we got a job in front of us.
Thank you very much, Bob. And for those finalizing words for our panel, we will not have any discussion. We don't have time for it because of the problems we had in the beginning. But I know that you will be listened to in another panel coming from the APGF. For questions and answers, I don't know if you have sent in any, but we can forward them to the panelists afterwards in this case. So with that, I will just leave to the next panel, that will be APGF in this case.